Hi everyone and welcome to our session today. My name's James Barter and I'm the DevOps Solution Director here at Basis Technologies, and I'm delighted to be joined by Nemanja Djujic today from RS Components. Nemanja is the lead application service manager at RS Components. He's going to be taking us today through RS Components' SAP automation journey and a little bit about what's in store for the future. So for those of you who may not be familiar with Basis Technologies, just a little quick overview of who we are. So we provide software automation tools which change the way our customers run SAP. We provide the most complete DevOps and test automation platform specifically engineered for SAP systems. And that application and that platform consists of two main pillars. The first one is ActiveControl, and ActiveControl is all around giving SAP customers the ability to deliver continuously but safely into their SAP production systems. And the other pillar in the platform is Testimony, and Testimony is all around fully automated regression testing for SAP systems, and that's the ability to test those systems without having to create any test scripts or maintain any test scripts at all. So that's a little quick introduction to us. Let's have a quick look at the agenda for today. So we're going to be looking at how and why RS Components automated their change and release process, how they banished the dreaded P1s from production, and what they're looking at as next steps for the future. So with that, I will hand over to Nemanja.
Thank you very much, James. My name is Nemanja Djujic. I work for RS Components, and as you might have seen on the previous slide, I'm one of the lead application service managers. In terms of who RS Components are, so we are a subsidiary of Electro Components. We're a leading distributor of electronics, electrical and industrial components and tools. We're a global organization. We operate in 32 countries and we have presence in 32 countries. We actually operate in 80 plus other markets. We have 12 warehouses across EMEA and APAC, and we have one warehouse in America. Speaking of America, we also have a RS sister company in America called Allied, which is bottom left-hand side of the screen. We have our own brand called RS Pro. In the sort of last 2 years, we made an acquisition. One of those was a company called AISA. AISA is a UK leading provider of integrated supply solutions to manufacturing and related industries. And we also have a innovation channel called OKDo. It's OKDo is something that we've stood up probably a year and a half ago, but it's a great way for engineers to interact with each other, spark new ideas and turn them into reality. Design Spark is also another channel very similar to OKDo. In terms of, I mentioned warehousing earlier, so with that we ship 50,000 parcels daily, which is an awful lot. We have over 1 million customers, over 500,000 products, lots and lots of new technologies. You can buy anything from a hammer to fancy technical items such as Raspberry Pi, if some of you heard of that, microchips, etc. And we're leading in the market in terms of digital. We have lots and lots of staff globally, so we have over 7,000 employees across the world. So we're quite big and we're a growing company. In terms of our strategic priorities and what we stand for, we are focused on becoming first choice for our customers and suppliers. So we are focused on the best experience for them. As an internal team, we strive for high performance. We look for high performance teams. We work Operational excellence is one of our is one of the things we stand for. We like to innovate, and we reinvest to accelerate growth. So that's our sort of digital vision. Our digital revenue is 1 billion plus. We have 10 million, over 10 million website visits, and we're not just talking about bot traffic, etc. We're talking about unique customers that come back and purchase with us. We're a FTSE 250 company, and there's an interesting statistic there on the right hand side of the screen, which says we made over 250 agile e-commerce changes in 2019. What's interesting is they're not just button changes; they're actual, big changes that impact conversion, etc., and have a positive impact on customer experience. We are 100% focused on digital leadership, but customer always comes first for us. So, where does SAP fit into our organization? So this is quite interesting. So although e-commerce is the front end where people come in and purchase for us, our digital channels, I think e-commerce falls under something like 65 to 70% of our e-commerce channel is through e-commerce. I think the other sort of fax, email, and phone orders probably make up the other 25%. But all those orders have to go through SAP. Otherwise, they can't get placed on the system. They can't get shipped out. So for us, SAP is an absolute bedrock of our organization. And for that, our core system is ECC. We also use Customer Relationship Manager. We use Business Warehousing, Business Process Analytics for all our batch scheduling, and we use we use SAP PO for various other applications that we have. In terms of who uses that within RS, I'd probably say all departments. Finance use it for day-to-day. Customer services use it to place orders. Our warehouses use it to confirm deliveries, etc., and get them out the door. Our inventory teams use it. So it's a widely used product across RS components. And the other place, which isn't always mentioned, is the local sales support and trade counters. Although they'll probably shoot me for saying that, they prefer to refer to this as branch offices. And we have them all across the country. So, we've got trade counters down in Heathrow. We've got some here in Corby. And, if you look it up, you'll find that there's probably a trade counter near you. And, that allows you to pop in and look at what we've got. You can chat to a member of staff. You've got all the help you need in one place. But if I move, I'm going to take you on a bit of a journey here. So from 2014, where we were and where we got to today, and the changes that we implemented in the meantime, in terms of automation and optimization, I want to show you how that's really benefited us, and hopefully it will be an interesting presentation for you. So in terms of where we were back in 2014, we just implemented SAP globally. So obviously a big change in terms of how we used to operate. However, we had lots and lots of manual effort. We found that we still had lots of spreadsheets and emails lying around, lots of reliance on that. Manual deployments, which were just taking too much time for technical teams. Because of the time taken, they weren't able to progress at pace. So there was a lot of pain there. We had slow, opaque processes built around SAP and other channels that we have. One of our big barriers is that we had too many production issues. So we had lots of people sitting on calls, long hours, weekends sometimes, to try and get to the bottom of these problems. And a lot of the time, it was a production change that we made. We didn't quite understand the risk. We did some testing, but not enough, clearly. So there were lots and lots of areas, lots of room for improvement, shall I say. And managing parallel environments was also a problem. But we decided to adopt a solution, and that is an ActiveControl product, ActiveControl, which is a product from Basis Technologies. And for us, it was the Holy Grail. So if I take you to the next slide, what we decided to do between 2014 and 2018 was we decided to make some significant improvements in terms of how we operate from a SAP change release perspective. So we wanted to reduce the reliance on manual effort. We wanted fewer issues because none of us really enjoyed spending their weekends on call. We'd rather do stuff with family members. And environment management became much easier, but we also wanted to drive accountability. We wanted to know who made the change, which environment they made a change to. And when changes get deployed, we want to know who can help in case things go wrong. So we wanted that full audit trail. And there's a statement there, interesting statement there from one of our solution architects, which says, I look back and wonder how we did cope with ActiveControl. Saves time, saves money, and adds traceability. And it really is that simple. If I go on to the next slide, whilst we made all those massive improvements, we also we were conscious that there was lots of room for improvement in terms of taking those stats to the next level. We analysed existing processes, and we realised that there was lots of room for improvement in terms of automation. Again, our big bearer was that production issues were still occurring. So although we were moving quicker, we weren't moving smarter. And obviously across time, our business direction changed, our roadmap changed, state of the market involved, new technology became available. So there were lots of contributing factors to make us accelerate further. And the solution for that, for us, was to leverage more automation and to support optimized processes. So what did we do then? So from 2018 to today, what were our goals? So for us, it was all around maximizing our SAP uptime. So improving that, improving the statistics, reducing those long working hours for people, and reducing the business impact to us, because every time we had those SAP outages, it was costing us a lot of money, and we wanted to spend our money on smarter things, and we didn't want to be reactive, we wanted to be proactive. And it was all around aligning better our SAP change control with business strategy and that digital focus that I mentioned earlier. But at the same time, we didn't want to lose agility. We still wanted to move at a pace, and if anything, we wanted to move quicker, because things were evolving. You know, we wanted to move. We didn't want to track back. And with that, with increase of automation, return on investment, and we wanted to support our roadmap and our modernization plan. Excuse me. So the optimization phase. So the new change governance regime is one thing that I wanted to talk about. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to increase our understanding of risk. We felt that we didn't really understand risk completely when change is going to production. We wanted to make sure that the right people were approving the right changes, and that people were marking their own homework across the board for all environments. We wanted to expose all the information in one place for everybody to view, so that it helps us with more informed decision making, and it really gives us that confidence. And we wanted to, quite frankly, if we can get all those right, we wanted to accelerate our deployments. Why not move quicker if we're confident in our release process? So there's 4 stages that really helped us achieve this. The first is what we call automated analysis. So there's a feature within ActiveControl, which you might not be aware of, called the risk guard. We kind of knew about it, but we didn't really focus on it too much in the past. But what that feature does is it highlights to users what the risk rating is. And based on the risk rating, you can judge, you can take a call, you can have a conversation with the architect. If the risk rating is high, you can turn around to your architect and say, it's quite a high risk rating. Should we reschedule this at the weekend? And then they'll do small assessment on it, and then they'll say, well, actually, it's new functionality, so you can deploy it during the week. Or they might turn around and say, no, it's high risk, it's business impact, and we definitely need to do it on a Sunday. But the fact is that you were able to have that conversation based on a very simple feature. We didn't just put a change into production and hope that, testing's been signed off, things work. It actually gives us extra confidence in our risk mitigation. And the other cool features of the product that we thought were very beneficial was the fact that the tool, through the different environments, it lets you know about overtakes. So by overtakes, I mean if there's a SAP transport there or another artifact within that environment, it tells you whether it comes before or after your change. So you'll kind of know whether you need to deploy your change before, after, or at the same time as that other transport. And if you can imagine, if you didn't have that feature, you might have 200 changes in the system. And, in the old world, you'd probably go around talking to 20 different people to work out when to deploy your, when and where to deploy your change. And wouldn't it be good if the tool did the thinking for you? So there's lots and lots of very, very good benefits of those automated analysis features. It just saves a lot of time, and any errors, they're quickly flushed out. It'll give you an error, and you can, prompt you to make a decision. The second big thing that we did was we enforced the separation of duties. So before any change can go into test, the developer can't just put a change into test. They need approval from an architect and a release manager. And once it is tested and signed off, they need approval from an architect and a member of the operations team to approve that transport into the live environment. And once it's approved, then obviously basis for us will do the deployment. But the fact is, people couldn't mark their own homework, so there's an extra governance check in there for us. Now, whilst that might take a little bit more time because an extra person does the approval, it actually gives us extra confidence that the change is going to go in safely, because a lot of those approvers look for things like, has the testing been signed off? Has it been peer reviewed? Has the functional specification been approved? All these lovely things to prevent us getting those major incidents which we dread. In terms of what else did we do? Sorry, I did forgot to mention on the single approval process. With that, we've got all the approvals in one place, including testing sign off. So we've got that whole audit trail. And that brings us on to the next point, because it's a single point of control. So we go into that tool to view historic information as well. If you like functional technical specifications on a certain change, it's within the tool. If you like to see whether it's tested and signed off and the report and who signed it off, you can view it there. If you like to see who the approvers are and who created the change, it's all in one place. So it's a single source of the truth as well. And the auditors love it. The next step is failure contingency plan. So each change that we put into production, each transport, has a deployment backup plan. So should things go off piste, we know exactly who to contact. They've got their phone number, all their details. Should we encounter any problems, as they'll be the best person to back out or fix forward the change. So for us, what were the outcomes? So for us, since we made that change, we had 100% of production uptime for a period of just over 12 months. So for us, that's obviously something that we're very proud of, because it links in with all or most of the strategic priorities that I discussed earlier, such as, operational excellence and striving for that high performance. So it's a statistic that we're very proud of. What it also does is it gives us greater confidence in our release process, because we're able to deploy safely. We also know that changes have gone through all that rigor, through all those environments before they even get to the production check. So we've got So it really makes life very easy for somebody who works in operations to know that it's gone through all the assessment up front. And quite frankly, as a production approver, you just need to review the test report and nothing else really, because you know that it can't pass because it has to tick all those stages up front. And until it does that, we can't confidently approve a transport into production. But the key driver as well, one of the other key drivers, is that we're able to deploy quicker. So now we don't deploy BW transports once a day, we deploy twice a day. And in terms of ECC and CRM, we deploy daily, which is much faster than where we were before. So it's a much faster time to value, and we're much more productive. So significant reduction in team effort. You can imagine with that, we're not spending time on those weekend calls anymore. Because we're able to deploy quicker, we can pinpoint and troubleshoot changes much quicker. So that's also improved for us. So it's greater agility. We've lowered our business risk. We're more productive. And very importantly, last but not least, we are able to support our business strategy more effectively. Which kind of brings us on to the next slide. So where we want to get to eventually, I think similar to sort of most customers, we want to get ourselves onto S4 HANA, and we want to enhance from then onwards. But if we spoke 12 months ago, we probably felt like we were a million years away from that. And we obviously want to get to S4 HANA for various different benefits. And quite frankly, 12 months ago, we were nowhere near that. But what we did want to do was we wanted to make some fundamental changes in order to, or inject some prerequisites to get us onto that journey, because for us, that is the future at the moment. But we do need to make some fundamental changes, and those fundamental changes include moving to the cloud because we're still stuck in the data center. We needed to upgrade our current version because we were very limited to what we can do on our current version. And we're still using Oracle, so we wanted to link up database wise as well. We're not proud of the next step or step 2, but we have an awful lot of rot in our code, and we've got a lot of customized code as well that we quite frankly need to clear up and improve. But for us, step 1 is really our biggest step, because not only we're initiating our roadmap journey, but we need to build the fundamental platform in order to clear that code and start preparing for that S4 HANA move. So I'm going to talk a bit more about step 1, because that's the one that we have completed a few weeks ago. The others are still on the agenda. So step 1. So what did we do to modernize? We decided that we needed to upgrade our enhancement pack from version 5 to version 8. And we were planning to do that anyway as part of our keeping the lights on and upgrading of systems as it goes on an application. So we were planning to do that anyway, because we can't stay stale. We have to keep up to date. But then we looked at our roadmap and said, in a couple of months' time, we're going to need to shift our data center. So we're going to need to move from our data center to the cloud. So we're going to have to go through the pain again. And then in terms of the database, we want to move from Oracle to HANA. So we're actually not duplicating effort, but it's going to take us, it's going to take those resources a lot of time to be doing those changes sequentially. So why don't we try and do it all together and do it all in one weekend? And everybody said, yes, that's a great idea. Let's do that. But then COVID came, and it didn't help us because we're all working remotely. So we had an additional challenge, but we said to ourselves, we're going to stick to the plan. and we're going to try to upgrade all those 3 systems. We'll run it as a big project, and we'll try and upgrade all those systems in 1 weekend, and we'll do it all remotely. And the third point as well, with moving it from our on-premise data center to the cloud, is it aligns quite nicely with our cloud-first strategy as well. So all those points ticked all the right boxes. And similar to ActiveControl, because we were saving time, we wanted to do it all together. We didn't want to spread it across and find that people were, looking at the same stuff across a couple of, let's say, 12 months, when we could have clubbed it all together. Yes, it's a bit riskier, but we get it all nicely out of the way, and we're able to focus on step 2, etc. So a few weeks back, we did that change, and I'm pleased to confirm it was a successful release. And the benefits of it were that we have, complete visibility across the board. For a period of time, we're running cloud, on-prem and cloud dual maintenance. We're sort of starting to decommission our on-prem stuff now, but we're running it all as sort of one environment effectively, and we were able to synchronize between ECC and our AWS build. So we were able to the outcomes were absolutely brilliant, because we had this wonderful tool. We were able to we were able to deploy things in a safe manner and in a timely manner as well. So we didn't really have to, our project weren't delayed as a result. But the other benefits were that when we did go live, yes, we can build our systems quicker now, which is a big benefit. But when we did go live, I was expecting all hell to break loose, as you can imagine, with those 3 changes. But we actually had single digit P1s within that 4-week ELS window, hypercare or early life support window, depends what you like to call it. But it was well below my expectations. But it wasn't just a tool. The people made it swim nicely. So we had a good team of technical resources, project management resources. So it's a good team collaboration piece that really helped us. But in terms of next steps, so where do we go from here as RS Components? Well, we're effectively, with faster deployments, we're effectively working in a DevOps approach already, but we want to investigate how we could become more agile. So that's always a key factor for us. The second thing is, because we've got ActiveControl that we love and trust, we also have our service desk tool, and we want to integrate those two, purely because we improve the change management process. And the other thing that we are evaluating at the moment is a new regression test automation capability. And one of the tools that would allow us to do that, should we decide to go for it, is testimony. So that's on the agenda. But we're kind of juggling lots of things at the moment, because we've got Brexit challenges at the moment, which I imagine you all must have as well. But in summary, thanks to automation, our SAP team have been able to align with our business strategy and our modernization path. We feel much more confident about taking risk, because before we didn't really feel like we knew the risk that we were taking. Now we're able to, we have a strong change governance, and we can quite firmly say when a change goes live and how we feel about it. And we're able to deliver faster, so we can move at pace, and we can accelerate our roadmap and our modernization plan. But we're able to do all that without any production incidents, any high priority P1s or P2s, which I feel is fascinating. So thank you very much for listening. Any questions?
Thanks very much for that, Nemanja. That's a fascinating insight into RS Components' journey to automation using ActiveControl. So if anything that Nemanja has mentioned today piques any interest for any of you, my contact details, email address is on the screen there. You can always have a look at our website or contact us if you'd like any more information. So once again, I think that just leaves me to say thank you very much for your time and for your words of wisdom, Nemanja, and thank you all for your time this afternoon.
Thank you, James.